Welcome to Uncensored Conservatism. This is episode number 167, continuing to look at Project 2025. So, chapter 23 is a little different from the others in that it's divided in half, a pro and con side, and deals with the Export-Import Bank of the United States. The con side was written by Veronique de Rugy, an economics journalist and member of the Heritage Foundation. The bank was formed in 1934 to promote American exports by providing government subsidies to exporting private companies. As such, it picks winners and losers by providing privileges to certain businesses that don't necessarily need them. For example, 40% of the subsidies go to a single company, Boeing, while the aggregate for other smaller businesses amounts to only 25%. We also subsidize foreign companies to buy our exports, with the biggest being Pemex of Mexico and Emirates Airlines. Further, the bank serves to redistribute labor from unsubsidized to subsidized businesses. Now, if the goal is to boost exports and create American jobs, they're doing a lousy job of it, as our trade deficit illustrates. When the bank lacked a quorum, it can't act. That period coincided with a period of increased exports, which is circumstantial evidence there's no need for the bank. And ironically, 98% of American exports are not supported by the bank. If the subsidized company defaults, you, the taxpayer, has to foot the bill, while the unsubsidized company faces higher borrowing costs and thus less job creation. Now, over the years, only 10 businesses have received the lion's shares of subsidies at 70%. That means that 30% is left for every other business in America. And 99% of all small exporters receive no subsidies whatsoever. In terms of dollars, the amount given to small business measures a paltry $1.6 billion, and their accounting sucks. They claim the bank saves taxpayers $14 billion over the next decade, but in reality, the Congressional Budget Office notes it will cost the taxpayers $2 billion. So something's off. That's a $16 billion difference. Now, the keep it but reform it part of the Chapter 23 was written by Jennifer Hazelton, who previously worked in the Export-Import Bank and for the State Department. She argues that China has disrupted the export credit sector. China has morphed export credit financing into a national security weapon. Further, most countries have export credit agencies, but China has 3, with staggering sums of money behind them. For example, in 2018, China dedicated over $500 billion to export credit, which is more than the Export-Import Bank has spent in 90 years. In fact, they're the world's largest creditor and twice the size of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund combined. China's Belt and Road Initiative and series of debt traps have now ensnared 150 countries. The thing is, China does not play by the rules. As a result, countries like Japan, Canada, Great Britain, and Italy have adjusted tactics and now target new markets more strategically than they act to level the playing field. The argument goes that our existing Export-Import Bank needs to adopt this more proactive approach. Instead, the argument argues for cooperation with these countries in using the export credit agencies to counter Chinese influence throughout the world. For example, the United Kingdom offered Boeing financing backed by Great Britain's export credit agency if Boeing used Rolls-Royce engines on their aircraft instead of GE engines. Further, it notes that the bank does not solicit applications for subsidies, and applications are judged on individual merit. Also, because these subsidies are government-backed loans with interest, assuming there is no default, someone should make money off of this, whether it's the lending bank or the government. And the default rate on these loans is only about 0.5%. But if there is default, the taxpayer is paid first before any lender. Because of China and the proactive measures taken by other countries, this part of the chapter says abolishing the Export-Import Bank would be economic surrender to China. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, have a great day, and a more pleasant tomorrow.